Hi there everyone in the world of YouTube. I'm Martin, the owner of Vape UK. Firstly, I'd like to say thanks to Aaron and Corbin who have been doing some juice reviews for me. And today's video is going to be a build tutorial using 24 gauge kanthal. So let's get down and dirty and I will see you in the close-ups. Hi guys, well we're in the close-up build section of this. What you're going to be needing is obviously your build deck on a decent ohm reader from Coil Master, highly recommended. You're going to need yourself some tweezers to pinch the coil with, some cutters to cut your wire with. We're going to be using this flathead screwdriver, which is around about 2.4mm to wrap your coils around. Obviously going to need your A1 kanthal, some scissors to cut your wick with, some wicking material. I like to use a cotton wool ball personally. Torch to torch your wire with. That's not necessary. You don't have to torch your wire, or if you do want to torch your wire and you haven't got a torch, you can always use your gas cooker. So, but that's not necessary, it just makes it easier for coiling. You'll need yourself a drill, a pair of pliers to hold your wire, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's get down to building some coils, I suppose. Right, so first of all, let's get rid of all this. We'll use this lot later on. Firstly, you're going to need your wire. Now you're going to want to take off of here 1, 2, 3, 4 strands, so around about 3 foot of wire. Do an extra one there just to be on the safe side. Cut your wire off. Now, if you put the two ends together, give them a little kink for something for the drill to hold on to. Insert that into the chuck of the drill. Now what I like to do, which is personal preference, is the screwdriver I'm going to wind my coils around. I will put at the other end, pull that tight, and then you know that that is halfway along the length of your wire. And then start spinning the drill in any direction you prefer. You will notice as you're doing this, it will want to pull the screwdriver in. Let it slowly come in, but keep a reasonable amount of tension on it so you don't get no kinks in your wire as you're twisting it. And there you go, she snapped off at one end. It's exactly what we was after. And if you can see in, nice and close, how tightly that's wound. Right, well, next stage is, now we're done with the drill, let's put that down there out of the way. Right, it's time to torch it. Or as I say, if you haven't got a torch, don't worry about torching it. But if you do still want to try and torch it and you have a gas cooker, then you can use that instead. But due to the amount I build, it was easier for me just to get a torch. Right, I don't know if you guys can see that, but if you start at the bottom, get it glowing nice and hot. The hotter the better. It just takes the Takes the spring out of it when you're winding it. It can take a little while, just be patient with it. Try and get it as even as possible all the way along the length of the wire. And there you go, that's that done. So let's turn that torch off. Don't forget your wire's going to be hot, so don't just try and grab it. Let's put this out of the way over here while that cools down. Right, that should be cool enough to hold now. Luckily enough, kanthal cools down nice and quickly. Right, let's put the pliers out of the way for a minute. Right, so take your screwdriver. As I say, I'm using a flathead screwdriver. It's around about 2.4 to 2.5 mil. You want to do 8 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, just get that as even as possible. Cut one lead slightly shorter than the other, makes it a little bit easier to get into your build deck. There we go. Now grab your pliers, pull that tight on your from either end just to take any slack out. So these coils are quite springy because they're twisted. Give that a little push down, flip around, push it down from the other side. Believe it or not, for a small piece of wire it does take quite a bit of tension to compress them. So right, there you go, that's one coil almost there. We'll clean that up when it's in the build deck. So we'll go on to making the second coil. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just do the same again, cut one shorter than the other, just for the ease of putting it into your build deck. Maybe a little bit too much wire there, didn't quite need as much as what we pulled off, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. Again, pull them leads nice and tight, compress it down, flip it over, compress it down from the other side. And there you go, that's the 2 coils ready to go in your RDA or your build deck, whatever you're using at the time. But, right, let's start building it. We've got our own reader here. We've got the Velocity deck, tried and tested RDA, very easy to build on, good fun to build on, no stress involved. And wound that one just a little bit too much. Not exactly the most subtle person in the world, I must admit. But right, so if we insert this one from this side, the top lead going into the top hole of the negative post and the bottom lead going into the bottom post of the positive post. put that in, get it roughly to where you want it. Get your pliers, pull them leads nice and tight. Just give them a little bend up and that'll help keep them in place while you're mucking around with the other side. Alright, let's give that a little bit of a tighten up. No need to do it up all the way at the minute, it's only while you're positioning everything. 9 times out of 10 you will have to go back and have a little bit of a reposition to get everything how you like it. Same again with the positive post, just give it a little tug to get all the slack out the coil. Bend it up, put it in place. Right, I'm not going to fully situate this one, but bend it down just a tad so it lines up with the airflow holes. And I'd say for that side we're pretty much there. As I say, we'll clean it up in the pulse firing. See that? And ohmage at this point in time is reading 5.8. which is around about where I want it, because by the end of it, it should be around about the 2.8 to 3 mark. Right, so we can now snip them leads. Good set of snippers is always a must. So flat edge snippers like them will end up giving you a nice clean look on the other side. So some people ain't too fussy about it, but I've got OCD and it's something that winds me up. So same again, just rinse and repeat. Pull that through, bend it up, give that a little tighten down. Sorry if this is a bit of a long video, guys, but this is my first YouTube video, so bear with me here a little bit. Trying to make it as informative as possible. If there's anything you guys think that I've missed out at all, obviously drop us a comment and I will try and include it in the next video. I'm going to try and do a weekly build for you guys. I'm starting with something simple and we'll work up to more exotic builds, but obviously most people who's watching this are new to building and need advice on more simpler builds more than anything else at this point in time. So it's just what we're going to try and cater for at the minute. I hope the rest of you excuse me for that, but we was all new once. Right, okay, well that's that one around about where I need it, so we're going to crank that up. In fact, the end coil just looks a little bit loose for my liking, so we'll loosen that back off again. We'll put the screwdriver back in there. Usually I spend a lot more time on my builds than this, but obviously I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible. And plus, believe it or not, Saturday is our day off, so right, there we go. That's looking a bit better now. Push them down so it'll line up with the airflow a little bit more. Crank up the Allen nuts. Make sure nothing's touching before we check the ohmage. Check the ohmage, spot on what I wanted it on, which was 0.3. Go ahead, Clip them leads on the other side again. That's one. And that's two. Right, so let's go into the pulse firing side of things. The only thing I find with this coil master, it takes very, very long to heat up the coils the first time round. Here they come. And for the other side, get everything glowing nice and evenly. Make sure there's no hot spots. Don't think it helps that my battery is a little bit low that's in here at the minute. Let's quickly change out that battery. Borrow one out of this just for speed. Usually I don't put batteries apart, they're usually in their groups and they stay in their groups, but just for speed we'll put that one in there. That one's just come off the charger, so it should fire up reasonably easy. Here we go. So you just want to take your ceramics tweezers. I do actually have a set of pliers here as well, as you've already seen, just to neaten up the coils with. Go on to the other side. They're glowing nice and even, so we'll put the screwdriver back in there now. Straighten everything up. Situate it where we want it. Try it again. There you go, they're heating up lovely and even from the centre out. And we'll switch that off for a second. There you go, it's finished off at 3.1, 0.31, which is just about where I want it. Right, now time for a bit of wicking. Personally, I use plain old cotton wool balls. They've done me fine, never had a problem, so no point in changing it. So again, less is usually more, but depending on what VG of juice I'm using, if I'm using quite a thin VG, like a 50-50 or a 60-40, I tend to use slightly more cotton in the coils. If I'm using a higher VG, I like to use slightly less cotton in the coils, just to help the higher VG juice to wick a bit faster. So we just roll that up in our fingers, twist the end so it fits through our coil nice and easy. Let's try that again, shall we? And then just pull it through. Now you want to feel a little bit of resistance. Personally, how I do it, a little bit of resistance, but not so much that you're pulling the cotton apart. And we'll take our trusty scissors. Now I like to leave quite long tails. Some people like to leave them short, but it all depends on the size of your juice well really, and how you like to vape. But for me, I like long tails. Do the same again. We'll take the other half of the cotton that we've already cut off, twist the end again, we can thread it through our coil. Use the tweezers here a little bit, I think, make life a little bit easier. Suffer with fat finger syndrome, so a bit of a nightmare. Alright, again, let's just snip the ends. I've just got a normal wire gauge here. Just use that for tucking the cotton. Just bring it around and down, around and down. Make a nice little bed. Same on the other side. Around and down. I don't know if you guys can see that properly, but I've got the wife filming, so it's a little bit backwards, unfortunately. I will promise you guys that I will get a bit of a better setup for you. But if you can see that, there's a nice little bed of cotton in the centre there to be able to drip straight through the top of the velocity RDA. As I'm lazy and I don't like taking it off all the time. So just going to neaten that up a tiny bit more before I juice it. Right, so now she's all wicked up, let's take her off of the ohm reader / test bench. Put her on top of my trusted Wismic. Let's make sure she's locked before we do that. We don't like no burnt fingers. Right, well, today we are going to juice her up with one of our own juices. She's vanilla custard. She's new to the range. She's very nice, very smooth. I must say, since it's come onto our range, it's been my all-day vape ever since. And I've been vaping it for about 2 months solid now, while we've been developing it. And I must say, very, very, very impressed. While we're on that topic, I'm actually doing a promo code at the minute for our website, which is TRIXUT, which will be in the description along with the website. And what that promo code does is that will give you 10 ml of extra juice whenever you make a purchase. Also, alongside that, I'm running a competition, which is a prize draw for one of these Wismics. Now, I'm giving away 10 in total, and that is going to come with batteries and with a charger. It will be drawn at random on the 23rd of the 3rd, 2016. I can't get this to turn back on. There we go. And basically all you got to do to enter that is get onto our website and order absolutely anything. Anything you like the sound of, whether it's 10ml, 30ml, 100ml, max VG, extra flavour shot, anything along that lines, whether it be wire, anything. And that will automatically put you into the prize draw for winning one of these absolutely stunning Wismics. So now that's nicely saturated. I do try not to oversaturate it too much, but you can't really help it when first wicking. Just give her a few pulses just to draw that juice into the coils. And on the mod she's reading 0.32 at 120 watts, if you can see that. And yeah, well, that's it basically, guys. Sorry it was a bit of a long one. I will try and edit it down a little bit, but I don't know how much I can take out of it. Alright, so if we just put the top on there, it's got a nice little notch on it just to line the air holes up for you. Again, it's down to that lazy style of vaping. And yeah, that's her. Looking lovely on top of the Wismic. So I shall see you back on FaceTime and we'll have a little vape on it. Right, so yeah, so that's a twisted 24 gauge at 3.2 ohms, 0.32 ohms, sorry. And yeah, as I said, while we was in the Wicking stages, we've got that competition on to win yourself one of these 10 giveaways that I'm doing, and also with the promo code for the extra free juice that goes along with the YouTube channel. All the details will be in the description. So let's have a little vape and see what she's like. Oh yeah, as you can see, the clouds are good, and that is only a 60-40 juice. Usually I vape a max VG, but personally I didn't have time to make some up today, so. Yeah, let's drip a little bit more than that, as these coils do tend to eat through the juice, especially at 120 watts. I do like to vape up at higher powers, but other than that, yeah. So yeah, that's if you enjoyed it, give us a like, give us a subscribe, let us know in the comments what you want to see me build. I can build pretty much anything for you guys. So yeah, have a nice day, I suppose, and it's me checking out.